In today's Everyday AI video, I want to do something a little bit different. Instead of demonstrating just a tool or a new capability of a tool that I'd previously demonstrated, I want to show you a workflow because I think that it's more and more important to learn how to use AI and how to use these tools together. If you read my last newsletter, you know that I believe that 2026 is going to be a pivotal year. It's the year that AI is moving from experiment to expectation, and we need to learn how to embrace AI. We need to understand how to use these tools. So let me walk you through what I did. Today is a really exciting day, at least in my little geeky world, because today is the day, well, yesterday was the day, but today is the day that I found out that the PwC Global CEO Survey was released. Now, this is a survey that is usually chock full of information. The sentiments about how CEOs feel about things going on in the world and how prepared they are to deal with them. And the Australian summary is always very interesting as well. So I read both of them this morning, and then I started to put together a series of LinkedIn posts and do something a little bit different. Well, the first thing that I did is I decided to use one of my favorite tools, and if you followed me for a while, you know about this tool, Notebook LM. Notebook LM was originally designed for the education sector, so you can create a number of notebooks. Well, I had been putting together a notebook for the last couple of weeks, Future Trends for 2026, in preparation for some of these reports that I follow, like the PwC report, like the World Economic Forum report, the Future of Jobs report, which I expect to be released after Davos. So today I uploaded both the PwC Global Report and the Australian report, and I decided that to cater to all different types of learners, I was going to write some blog posts, but also do some audio overviews. And I thought it would be kind of fun to use the Notebook LM audio overview because if you haven't listened to it before, it's two hosts. So here are the audio overviews, and let's duck into one of them just to give you an example.
Big CEO survey from PwC, the 2026 edition, it reads like a glitch in the matrix.
It really does.
I mean, you look at the data and it's describing two completely different planets. You've got the global average, which is getting pretty anxious, and then you have Australia, which is just aggressively bullish.
Wildly optimistic, as they were last year. Anyway, so I put together these audio overviews, which if you follow my future-proofed newsletter, you will see over the next couple of weeks. And I'm just doing some interesting things with Notebook LM. And then it dawned on me, reading the reports, that oh my gosh, they really follow a model that I have been talking about for the last 5 or 6 years at least, called the 3 Disruptions Powering the Decade of Radical Change. Now, the name of the model has changed, but the model certainly has not over the last few years. So I decided that I was going to create another notebook just with the PwC report and the model itself. And I wanted to do a couple of things using my model as a framework to unpack the information and to correlate it with the things that a lot of my followers have been reading about and interacting with me for a long time. But I realized that I didn't have any kind of explainer video or any audio of or anything even in writing unpacking this model. Now, I talk about this model all the time. I talk about it in my keynotes. I reference it in, training programs and podcasts. I talk about it all the time, but I never had a real clear synopsis of what that model stood for. So I went onto ChatGPT and I dictated what the model was. Now, when I say I dictated. I didn't use the dictation from ChatGPT either. I used WhisperFlow, yet another AI tool that I love that you've probably seen the demo of. But in case you haven't, let me show you how it works. I've got it set up so I double tap the function key and then it works across platforms. I'll show you just in the chat here. So I am demonstrating how WhisperFlow works. Now, what's interesting is that I can say, I want to talk about 2 things. The first thing that I want to talk about is, and then talk about that thing. And the second thing that I want to talk about is, and then I talk about that thing. Now let's see how. Yeah, there you go. 1 and 2. So it takes my ramblings and it makes it into a cogent, cohesive paragraph. So that's what I did. Well, sort of. As you can see, the numbering system is a little bit off, but that's okay because ChatGPT could fix that. So I dictated it into a chat, and then ChatGPT said, after going back and forth a little bit, what I got from ChatGPT was a very comprehensive, cogent explanation of this model. Then I cut and paste this explanation from ChatGPT back into the notebook that I had set up specifically for this purpose. So I put this into a document. In fact, I didn't even put it into a document. I just cut and pasted it into a source and added the graphical model with that source, which if you haven't seen that before, that's what it looks like. This is the 3 disruptions powering the decade of radical change, and my explanation that I typed on ChatGPT. Then I created a prompt and I said, create a script suitable for a podcast. I was planning on doing a video. I should have said video script, but I didn't. I said podcast script, but it knew what I meant. Suitable for a podcast using the 3 disruptions powering the decade of radical change as the outline to unpack the PwC survey, and then create a final section that juxtaposes the Australian findings from the global findings. So that was my prompt. So it did that. And initially, because I said podcast, it gave me 2 hosts. So I went, oops, my bad. Do the same for a 1 host as an explainer. I'm going to copy and paste this script and read it from a teleprompter, which is what I had originally intended to do. So it did. It did a teleprompter script, and including different cues of when I should have a close-up on myself, when I should be far away, if I had a 2 camera setup. So this is perfect. I could have uploaded it into my teleprompter and read it, and I probably still will, and you'll see why in a second. So that was easy, 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 easy. That whole thing probably took me less than 15 minutes. Then I decided that I was going to get a little bit tricksy with it, and I was going to use HeyGen to do a video avatar, a video of me using my own digital clone to do this. This is when it became really complicated. And I could have recorded this script several times over rather than relying on HeyGen to do it. And HeyGen is not quite what I'm looking for. I'll show you what it came up with.
I have just received the PwC 29th Global CEO Survey for 2026. And if I had to summarize the mood of...
And hopefully I don't talk like this. It's hilarious. And I spent way too much time on this because I kept laughing. It became this funny little project. I will never use that video, by the way. I don't pass my digital twin off as me, because I think that I'm much more animated and much funnier in person than I do. But I thought for purposes of this demo, I could show you another step that you could use. So just to recap, I started with the Notebook LM, putting the sources into audio explainers. And again, with Notebook LM, I can create blog posts, I can create executive briefings, I can do a number of different things, which I will do. And if you subscribe to Future Proofed, you will see the result of those. And then I decided to put it within the context of my 3 disruptions. So I dictated using Whisper Flow into ChatGPT to come up with that explainer, which I then created a new notebook in Notebook LM. So I had the 2 PwC reports and my explainer. I created the teleprompter script, which I then stupidly decided to put into HeyGen to create. So that's an example of a more complex workflow. Again, not difficult. All of these tools are super easy. And notice I'm not doing anything with Zapier or N8N or any of those apps that you have to use to put apps together. I refuse to do that. Well, actually, I don't. I do that for my own benefit. But I want to demonstrate everyday AI that everyday people can use in their everyday work lives. So give it a go. Let me know what you think. And if you haven't seen the demos for the tools that I just went through, look at my back catalog. They're all there.